denied. The request to take the death penalty off the table in the case against Casey Anthony gets shot down. Anthony's attorneys had argued that prosecutors were seeking the death penalty in bad faith. She's charged with first-degree murder. West 2's Bob Keeling joining us live right now in the West 2 newsroom with the late-breaking details. And Bob, you have found another case where the judge was faced with this life or death decision.
Yeah, that's right, Martha. And now that Strickland has cleared the way for the state to seek death against Casey, another case could shed some light on which way he could go if she's convicted. In 2004, J.J. Curtis Jacobs, a twice-convicted felon, stood in front of Judge Stan Strickland. Only this time he was guilty of the rape and murder of a mother of three, Lalita K. Narain. Her boss said nothing but death would do.
This crime just shouts out death sentence.
What did Strickland do? Because of mitigating factors, including the staggering abuse, he said, that Jacobs suffered as a child, Strickland opted against death.
As to count one, Mr. Jacobs, murder in the first degree, you're sentenced to life in the Department of Corrections without the possibility of parole.
Today, Strickland ruled that there was no legal basis to prevent prosecutors from seeking death against Casey Anthony. But defense attorney Richard Hornsby says Strickland's ruling also shows sympathy for the defense's overall argument.
I'm thinking that Judge Strickland is probably the opinion that this particular case isn't exactly death penalty material.
If Strickland is willing to spare a twice-convicted felon guilty of rape and murder, does that send the message of how he will rule against Casey if she is convicted, a young woman with, so far, no criminal record? And what about all the public sentiment surrounding Kaylee's death?
I do know Judge Strickland well enough to be able to say this. If he personally feels a just and fair sentence at the end of this case is a life sentence, he will impose that, notwithstanding a jury recommendation or public pressure.
Now, Strickland also said in this ruling today that it's best left up to a jury to decide if there's enough evidence to vote for death. But ultimately, the jury's is only a recommendation, and the sentence is the judge's to decide. Martha?